How we doing, everybody? I think we are live. Let me know in the comment section if we are, if we're there. Why is the music playing? That's a... How we doing, everybody? So I think I'm live, as I said. Hola, Brian Smith, back in the house. How we doing? Who wins tomorrow night? Sean Strickland or Abus Magomedov? That is the first poll that Anthony Evans has put up, and you have 63% of people have Sean Strickland winning that one. We are live. Anthony Evans in the house. Hope you're well, brother. So, everyone, how we doing? It's been a while since I've done one of these. I have been away in England for the last few weeks, visiting family. It's your birthday, Thomas Thistlethwaite. Thistlethwaite. Have a great day, everyone. Yeah, so I was just back in England. I had a lovely time. The weather was fantastic, which is very, very rare for England. I just finished a workout. If this shirt starts to look wet throughout, it's because I'm still sweating like an absolute madman. And yes, thank you. I got a haircut yesterday. I will touch a camera through a fence. I don't know what that means. Still, after all this time, touch my camera through the fence. I don't know what that means. Anthony Evans, I said, send us a little list of the topics if you didn't see it. So, lots going on in the world of mixed martial arts. Lots of things going on. But first of all, before we get into some of the subjects which I have prepared, we will answer a few of your questions. Dave Gannon, the trip back home was amazing. Went to see my mum. Lovely to see her. You know, as she's getting older, you know, it's sad when you're on the other side of the world, you know. My mum, she had polio when she was younger, so she always had a terrible limp, but now she can't walk. She's on crutches full time. She lives by herself, so you always feel bad. You're living it up on the other side of the world, and obviously looking after my family and things, but always good to go home, see her, see my dad as well. And, you know, I'll just share this bit of advice, bit of wisdom that my mum told me. Because as I said, she can't walk these days, and I was asking her the story about when she first contracted polio. She was about 2 or 3 years old, and she got polio. She started falling over. She couldn't walk, and she was in hospital for about 3 years, you know, when she was young. And then when she came out, she was in a wheelchair and stuff. And I said to her, I said, Mum, was that not really bad? Did you not feel sorry for yourself? Were you not super depressed? And you know what she said? And this stuck with me. She said, no, I didn't, Michael. Because there was someone else in the hospital, this young girl that was a bit older than her, and she had polio, and she was paralyzed from the neck downwards, and her entire body was in plaster, and she just had like a little opening in the plaster in a private part so that she could use the bathroom, you know. And my mum said, there's always someone worse off. She said, I could have been her. She didn't feel sorry for herself that she couldn't walk. She looked at Maria, I think her name was, and thought, I could be her. And I thought, wow, amazing advice, and I think everyone needs to hear that. So still, there's a bit of motivation on a Friday afternoon for you from the DJ Mikey B. Do you know what nemesis means? Right. A rightful indignation personified by an appropriate agent. In this case, an honourable C. Me. Yeah. I know what nemesis means. Damn, man, that's crazy. I'm glad she made it. Thank you, Phil. Anthony, send me a little list of the topics what we discussed, please, brother, so I can bring them up on my screen. Oh, you couldn't make a word out of what you told me. So last night we had Anthony Smith grappling in the Fight Pass Invitational against Glover Teixeira. Did a good little, nice little grappling match. There was no submissions. Glover Teixeira got the decision, but I thought Anthony did himself very well. And it's just great to see. And I'll be honest, when I was watching that, I thought I might do one of these. It'd give me something to train for. Flush to the mush has been a killer at UFC 289. Used it a few times. Flush to the mush. Trademark, Michael Bisping. T-shirts coming your way soon if I ever get round to it. So do I think Tom Aspinall could end up fighting for a title straight after Marcin Tybura if Jones retires? I don't think why would John Jones retire? I mean, he only just came back, and he didn't really have a fight. He dominated Cyril Gane. But I know he's not here for a long time. I think he's going to have 3 fights at heavyweight, but he's not really interested in people like Tom Aspinall, and I say that with respect because Tom's my boy. Tom's my friend. In fact, I had dinner with him. He's a great guy. I had dinner with him and his father last Friday. But Tom's like the new generation, the new breed. Jones wants to fight. Well, he won the belt back. That's mission number 1. Or won the heavyweight belt. Didn't win it back. Then he wants to take on Stipe Miocic, who's the greatest heavyweight of all time. So he can tick that one off the box. And then maybe one more. Or who knows? Maybe he just fights Stipe and that's it. in regards to your question about Tom Aspinall, yeah, I do think, I mean, listen, he's got to get through Marcin Tybura first. That is not an easy fight. It's not a given in any way, shape or form. But if he does do it, and he does it in the style of the other people that he's beaten, it's not going to be too long. Shout out Loose Arsehole. Loose Arsehole, hope you're well, bro. I see the videos of me getting trolled. They're going round. They're going everywhere. Sounds like a bit braggy. I just did a film with O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son. Which is pretty cool because I did a movie. I did some scenes with Ice Cube, and now I did one with his son. In fact, 2 with his son, Den of Thieves 1 and 2. And when I was there on set recently, O'Shea Jackson, he comes over to me. He's like, Mike, look at this. And the video of me getting trolled on the lives had somehow popped up on his feed. And him and all these boys, they were laughing their asses off. So that's because of you lot making a dickhead out of me. On Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson. Felt like a right knobhead. Someone keeps asking, do me and Dan Hardy have beef? Not that I know of. Why? Has he been chatting? He's been saying something? I used to train with Dan Hardy back in the day. I've got no issues with him whatsoever. Dan Hardy versus Diego Sanchez, bout cancelled. Yeah, nothing new about me. No, I used to train with him. We were never the closest. We were never like best buddies or anything like that, but I wouldn't say we have beef. Far from it. You know, we're not mates. We're not in touch. We don't text each other, but I wish him the best. So, yeah. AJ Leclerc says, how do I like being a father? Being a father is everything to me in this world. That is my drive. That is what I work for. That's why I'm still working hard to this day because of, you know, listen, I achieved some things in the UFC and, you know, but now I still work my ass off because I still want to give them the best life possible, you know, and I want to be able to set an example to them. I want to leave them somewhat financially secure. You know, when I go, I want to be able to leave a little nest egg. That's everything to me. Everything. The kids and my wife, even though they hate me because I get on the case. But still, I'm not the best friend. I'm the father. Bisping, have you ever had a Parmo? What is a Parmo? Ant, if you're on here, mate. Oh, there we go. There we go. We got the little list from Evans because I don't want to. I'm very, very, how do you say this? ADD, something like that. My mind goes all over the place. So there we have a little list of topics so we're not all over the place. Anyway, no man alive can keep up with the Bisping Live. Right, listen, first one is Henry Cejudo. Let's just kill this poll here. Strickland, you guys all got Sean Strickland winning this weekend. I will be commentating that one. 68%, I mean, Strickland is more of a fan favourite. People like his personality. They like the fact that he says controversial things. I think he says a lot of it just for the sake of it. But he is a bit of a nutter as well. I've known him for years and he's always been the same way. He's very effective as a fighter. But Magomedov even, don't count him out. I'm telling you, he's only had one fight in the UFC. Took out Dustin Stoltzfus in something like 19 seconds last year in Paris. Dagestani, so you know the man can wrestle. He's got great kickboxing. I think it's a tough fight for both men. Anyway, I'm going to end that poll. So, Henry Cejudo versus Chito Vera is cancelled, sadly. So let's have a look. Let's have a little look-see-doosey. Henry Cejudo. What do we think? He said that he's got a rib injury, is it? Something like that. So let's have a little look-see at what they're saying. Marlon Vera says has two-word response to Henry Cejudo fight cancellation. Oh, let's have a look at what this is. So he says here, hold on.
Well, fuck.
Well, there it is. 2 words. That was 2 words. It's a bit disappointing, isn't it? I was looking forward to that one. I got to say, I respect the balls on Chito Vera for taking that fight. As we know, last time, you know, it didn't go his way, did it? And he never really showed up. And that's no disrespect to Corey Sandhagen. You know, he just had a mental block. Chito Vera, I'm talking about. But what did he want to do? Wanted to jump straight back in there against top competition. That's when you know you're dealing with a real fighter, a real man that wants to make some, you know. How do I respond to my allegations of transphobia? What are you talking about? Transphobia. Where's the allegations of transphobia? Let's have a look. That's just ridiculous. I have friends. Unless I'm just getting trolled. The UFC legend thinks transgender fighters shouldn't be allowed in mixed martial arts. Well, I don't. That doesn't make me transphobic. It just means that I don't think men should be fighting women. And I think that's pretty universally recognized throughout the history of mankind. A man should not beat up a woman. If that makes me controversial, then so be it. But still, there we go. How's my favorite middleweight of all time doing today, bud? Doing great. I got Strickland for tomorrow. I stand by who I'm a fan of. Good for you. Hope your summer's well, Mike. Wish you and the family well. Thank you very much, Cotton Weaver. So Henry Cejudo, yeah, he pulled out. I think it's a rib injury, shoulder injury of some sort. As I say, fair play to Chito Vera, because that is a tough fight for both men. But given that he just lost to Corey Sandhagen, I mean, the fact that he wanted to take on Cejudo, because then he would probably go ahead of Corey Sandhagen in the rankings in terms of getting a title fight. And certainly, if Sean O'Malley was to beat Aljamain Sterling, which is a big if, but if he was to beat him, then Chito Vera's right there. Obviously, he has the win over him. So, let me have a sip. Ah, dearie me. Mike, thoughts? Oh, here we go. Thoughts on upcoming Muay Thai fighter Fanny Schmeller. Ooh, Fanny Schmeller. You are a big inspiration, Michael. Who the hell becomes a world champion with one eye? I do. That's who. Let's have a look. Sterling mocking Cejudo for the pullout. Henry Cejudo is out of this fight. The Savage. Remember that? The Savage texting Dana saying, if that little pussy doesn't want to fight, I'll take the fight. Isn't it funny how the roles are reversed now and this little savage is no longer a savage? Very interesting. For me, I call that being a dirty little weasel. Henry wanted to be this big, bad, tough guy and lie to the fans and make it seem like he was in it to win it. Yay! But now look, instead, you look like an ass clown. I'll tell you what, Aljamain Sterling is doing a great job of, well, first of all, beating his opponents, staying the champion of the world, beating legendary fighters. I mean, that was a great win over Cejudo. Close, but I didn't win him. But he's also becoming quite the heel, if you will, to use a professional wrestling term. You know, some people like it, some people don't like it. I think Dana White likes it because he got bought a brand new bloody Lamborghini, didn't he? He got a brand new Lamborghini. I never got a Lamborghini off Dana, just saying. Aljo gets Lambo. There's a bit of accidental rhyming for you. Yeah, we don't need to see a YouTube video on that, but still. Let's go back to some of these real topics because there's some stuff going on. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this. Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, this is dominating the MMA news cycle right now, which is crazy because neither of them are fighters. Neither of them have probably been in a fight in their life. But I am very compelled to see this. You know, it's crazy. And Dana's saying that it could be the biggest fight of all time. And I hate to say it, but it might just be the biggest fight of all time because I doubt there's not many people on this planet Earth that's, well, certainly from a Western civilization anyway, that doesn't know who Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg is. Certainly there's people, you know, that have hard lives. They've never heard of them because they're just trying to fucking survive. You know, people in the Amazon jungle, people in the, you know, parts of India and whatnot, they got bigger fish to fry than keeping an eye on the richest people in the world. But if they were to fight, I think there would be all kinds of people watching this just purely from a spectacle standpoint. People would be very interested. But I was talking about this in one of my YouTube videos recently. Isn't it weird how it all comes down to that? Because these are the two of the richest, probably smartest people. You know, they're certainly smarter than me. Shock horror. I'm going to throw it out there. Elon Musk is smarter than me. I don't mind saying it. It's okay. Two of the smartest guys in the world, and they want to step in an octagon and fight. You know, that's because deep down, all men and some women, they want that bragging right. They want the ability to dominate another man. You know what I mean? And they want to seem like the alpha male, the tough guy, the big dog in the room. And I'll tell you what, I've seen Mark Zuckerberg training. You've probably seen the video clips. Let's have a look, see if we can find some. Because he's got some flow. You know, the jiu-jitsu he's been doing. I don't know how to spell Zuckerberg. Jiu-jitsu footage. See what that brings up. I've spelt it terrible. Here we go. I mean, he knows what he's doing. There's a nice little double leg. Passes the guard. Takes the back. Little rear naked choke. Nice butterfly sweep.
Nice, Mark. There it is.
Yeah. Not bad at all, to be honest. You can see that
This
it's
video
clear.
is of Mark Zuckerberg and I, Lex Friedman, training.
Anyway, we'll get rid of Lex Freeman. You can see there that he's got some flow. You know what I mean? This isn't like just a guy that's been doing it. I mean, obviously he's a white belt, he's a novice, but he spent a lot of time. This person from Southington, Connecticut keeps calling. Oh, I think I know who that is. I can't pick up right now. But yeah, he's got some decent flow. Elon Musk being the bigger man. I don't know how he beats him. You know what I mean? Skills pay the bills. Love Elon, but he has no chance against the lizard man. Would you guys pay for this, and who do you have winning? So, would you watch Mark Zuckerberg in the poll? Yes. And so would everyone else, 56%. No, and screw you for asking, 16%. Yes. But I wouldn't be proud, 27%. Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, what's to be proud about? You know, but I would watch it with interest, you know. And let's be honest, I think a lot of the fight world and fight fans would kind of mock it. You know, but still, it's interesting, isn't it? In 2023, when the world has gone soft, when everyone, you know, you can't even offend anyone these days. You can't say anything that's slightly controversial or anything like that. Two of the big dogs on planet Earth, two of the richest men, they want to step in the octagon and fight. It's hilarious. It's great. I love it. I'm all for it. More people should do that. But what is the beef? I don't think they have any beef. You know what I mean? They just want to see who's the hardest in a fight. I keep getting voicemails. Pick up Mikey, Christian Geeling. I will do as soon as I'm done. All right. A grey hybrid versus a lizard. Who would you like on the co-main, Mike? Another fighters on the card. What, of Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk? I don't know. Who would be a good one? I don't know. Let's have a think. I mean, who's another big nerd on the planet? I mean, them two are pretty nerdy. I don't know. Fortunately, nerds are not my forte. Right, we've got a super chat from Anna O'Rourke. Says, thoughts on the revival of the BMF. Poirier and Gagey are neither bad mother effers, in my opinion. Thoughts on alternatives? You're out of your goddamn mind. I'm going to end that poll. And put a poll up. The BMF title's back on the line soon. End of July, next month. I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited. Anna Rourke. And how can you say that Poirier or Gagey are not BMFs? Have you seen their fights? Have you seen the way that they throw down? Have you seen some of the performances and the wars that they have put on? I think Justin Gagey, Poirier, Michael Chandler, I mean, the way that they fight, yes, sometimes they throw a caution to the wind. Sometimes it's not the highest fight IQ. But the bloody buildings and the arenas go insane. I'll never forget, I think it was UFC 268, Madison Square Garden. Who was it? Justin Gagey and Michael Chandler. Oh my God. What a fight. Poirier versus Gagey the first time. Insane. Poirier versus Chandler. Poirier versus Dan Hooker. I mean, that was just ridiculous. Every time they fight, last time Justin Gagey, the human highlight reel against Rafael Fiziev, beat him in his own game, accused me of being biased. You know, he's a bad motherfucker. Of course he is. Of course he is. But who do you think wins? It's a very close fight. Of course, Dustin Poirier took him out there last time, later in the fight, some of the later rounds. You guys have it 54% to 46%. It's an incredibly close fight. I don't know. It's one of those. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to end the poll, Ant. Sorry about that. It could go either way. I don't think any guys slowed down. I mean, if you look at Poirier from that first Conor McGregor fight to the last two, I mean, he's clearly got better. Or maybe McGregor's been on the decline, you know. And Gagey's seemingly still improving. But the thing that I like about Poirier and Gagey is that they're still so hungry. I mean, they've achieved massive stardom in the world of mixed martial arts. I'm sure both of them are not hurting financially. By all accounts, Poirier is doing very, very well financially. And the hot sauce business that he has apparently is doing incredibly well as well. So money's one thing, but they both want legacy. They both want to be champions so bad. I've said it a few times, but I'll never forget. I saw Dustin Poirier shortly after he lost to Khabib on Fight Island. And I saw him on one of the UFC buses going to and from an arena. I was commentating. And I said to him, I said, oh, and look, you know, we had a quick chat about the fight with Habib. You know, I said, oh, well, never mind, man, you'll be back next time or whatever. You know, you said those nice, polite words. And he's like, no, Mike, he said, you're a big inspiration to me to see you win the belt so long in your career. You know, he said, that really inspires me. And I'm not done. I'm going to do the exact same thing. And you could see it in his eyes when he said it. And just engages the same way. So, yeah, when it says, you say they're not bad mother effers, you don't have to be walking around the place insulting people, being a bad guy, being rude, being obnoxious, getting arrested. That's not the definition of a BMF. How you conduct yourself inside the octagon, how you fight, the shows you put on, the fighting spirit that you display to the world, that's what makes you a BMF. And I can't think of two better guys. And if there is, let me know in the chat, because I cannot think of any. What does McGregor look like when he finally comes back? Over the hill, maybe? I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Look, he's been away for a little bit. He's had loads of success. He's made loads of money, okay? He's gone up in size. I miss your super chat, Steve. Sorry, brother. I'll try and find it after. You know, he's gone up in size. He's put some weight, and no doubt his cardio's not where it was. He'll be rusty and all the rest of it. But he's still relatively young. There's nothing to say that if he didn't get his life back on track, if he didn't stop the partying and the traveling and the hanging out and the living on yachts and all the rest of it, and by the way, fair play to him, he's earned that right. But in terms of coming back to the UFC and becoming a contender, there's nothing to say that you cannot turn that all around. 6 months. Now, granted, he's not in the testing pool yet, and we don't know if he'll ever fight again in the first place, or we don't know if he'll come back for December. In January, we don't know, right? But regardless, either way, 6 months is a very, very long time. A lot can change in 6 months. You know what I mean? So if he was to get on the straight and narrow, start living a fighter's lifestyle, he could come back and look incredible. The hard part of what I just said, though, is living a fighter's lifestyle when you're Conor McGregor. Living the fighter's lifestyle when you're Mike Tyson, when you've got that level of fame. Now, granted, you could say this, Israel Adesanya is a very famous man. Israel Adesanya is a very wealthy man, but there is levels, you know, and he's nowhere near the level of McGregor. But he's certainly at a level, Adesanya, where it's a distraction. It's certainly at a level where he's very famous everywhere he goes. His lifestyle has changed. You know, people are opening doors for him all over the place, you know, theoretically speaking. And he's got tons of money. I think he's one of the highest earners in the UFC now. Probably gets $5-6 million per fight. He's probably sitting on $30 million. That's a lot of dough. Do you know what I mean? So he could do whatever he wants, but he still stays on the straight and narrow. He's still living that fighter's lifestyle, you know? And I find that to be very, very impressive of Adesanya. So there we go. There we go. So the reality is we never know. But the question is, put this in the poll, Ant. Do we think McGregor comes back and fights Michael Chandler? That's the real one. Now, next week, International Fight Week is going down. Let's have a look. UFC 290 Wiki. UFC 290 Wiki. Give me some questions. Give me some super chats. Give me some hard-hitting stuffs. Let's have a look here. Right, here we go. We've got the fight card. Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, what a guy. What a guy Volk is. Unbelievable. Taking on Yair Rodriguez. What do we think about that? Keep up the walking content, Mike. Thank you, Delphi. Delphi Priestess. I will do. I love those walking videos. When I was back in England last week, if you haven't seen them, I was out at different parts of the English countryside, doing my morning runs or whatever, and I'd stop and pull the camera out on a selfie stick like a total dickhead. Felt like a knob, but still, I'm out on my morning run, and, you know, do some content there. I thought rather than in the house where I was staying, it was super echoey, so you couldn't do it. So I'm going to go back to those. So thank you, Adelphi. Hope you're well. Terry Bailey, member for 11 months. What is going on? Same goes with Callum. His knees might be gone, but he's still young and hungry. Plenty of options for a determined lad like him. You're absolutely right, Terry Bailey. So Callum just recently retired from boxing, and I know we're all over the place. Let me go back to here. Callum just retired from wrestling. Sorry, pardon me. Recently retired from wrestling. And I said, look, listen, don't be sad. You achieved great things. He struggled with his knees and some injuries. He's got a tricep problem. He's got knee issues. He's got back issues as well. But I'm like, mate, it did incredible things for you. You got a college scholarship. You were one of the best wrestlers in the last 20 years to come from his high school. And he only started wrestling as a freshman in high school. That's a first year for the English people. And he achieved incredible things. You know, I said, now it's the start of a new journey. Now it's the start of your professional life, your adult life, and you can do anything you want. So we got a poll. The question was, will Conor fight Chandler? 4% of you. 4% of you say yes. Yes, but in 2024. No, he never fights in the UFC again. That's the biggest answer, 41%. Yeah. You never know. So Paulo Costa's got Volkanovski stopping Yair Rodriguez in the 4th round. It's a tough fight, isn't it? You know, let's go back to that fight card again. Volkanovski, Yair Rodriguez. Can we get Tate or Mike Belchin on the show? Mike Belchin. Who's Mike Belchin? The referee? Oh, we can get Tate and Mike Belchin. Yeah, Tate the cut man. I thought you meant Andrew Tate. He's just been charged with bloody sex trafficking and rape. I'm not sure he's the person I want to bring on. But Volkanovski, Yair Rodriguez. Too early to make a prediction for me. Moreno versus Pantoja. All right, main event, I'm leaning Volkanovski. Co-main, I'm leaning towards Pantoja. Dricus Duplessis, Robert Whittaker, I think that's a pretty done one. I mean, that's Robert Whittaker all day long. I'll tell you what's a close one, this one here. Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker. That could be fight of the night. That really could. Dan Hooker's incredible. You know, it's easy to think about Dan Hooker. I was having this conversation on the BT Sports Show the other day. Dan Hooker, he's lost a few, right? We know this. But dig a little deeper. Scratch below the surface and look at the people that he's lost to. Because the people that he's lost to, there's certainly no shame. Hold on, let me just drag it over here a little bit so you can see. Yeah, look at that. So Arnold Allen, he was on an 11-fight win streak until he just lost to Max Holloway. Islam Makhachev, right? He's the champion of the goddamn world. Beat Nasrat. Nasrat's no walk in the park. Lost to Michael Chandler in Chandler's debut. And then lost to Dustin Poirier. And by the way, that fight with Dustin Poirier was an absolute banger. You know, so it's easy to look at Dan Hooker and think, oh, he's done. He's over. He's lost a few. Look at who he's lost against. And in between those losses, he last time beat Claudio Puelles, who's a solid fighter, and then Nasrat Haqparast. And Jalen Turner's incredible as a kickboxer. Jalen Turner used to be, he was kind of like my secret weapon. When I fought Anderson Silva, he was my main training partner, sparring partner. We weren't going hard, but he's very tall, he's very lanky, and he's got great kickboxing, just like Anderson Silva. And let me tell you a story about Jalen. You know, he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth, shall we say. And Anderson Silva was his absolute icon. And he couldn't afford a punch bag or have anywhere to hang it. So in his garage, as we say, or out in the garden, he just got an old couch that was thrown out and he stood the couch up like that. And that's what he used as a punch bag. And he used to watch instructional videos on YouTube and stuff about Anderson Silva and try and replicate all his moves on the couch. And that's amazing. And now look at him flying high in the UFC. So that's a great fight. That's a great fight. So when am I doing some meet and greets in the UK again? So I've got 2 big shows. We're not ready to announce. So I'm kind of jumping the gun. So I'm not making an announcement, but one in Manchester and one in London in December. It will be me and a bunch of other few people. We got some surprises. We got a big show going on. There'll be meet and greets there as well. So there we go. Bo Nickel versus Tresean Gore as well. I think Bo Nickel's probably going to go right through him. He really is. And that's no disrespect to Tresean Gore. You know, no disrespect to Tresean Gore. Anyway, shall we have a look and see what's going on in the world of mixed martial arts? When Dustin said, listen to Bisping. Yeah, he did. MMA. See what the news is. So what do you think? Zuckerberg versus, what's his face? Who do you think wins that? I think we did that poll already. Who do I like in the Grasov versus Shevchenko 2 fight? Might sound crazy, but I think Alexa is the better fighter. That doesn't sound crazy to me at all. I thought Alexa Grasso looked really good. I think Valentina Shevchenko has been a dominant force for so long. But everyone has the time. Everyone has their end. Everyone has the beginning of the end. Is this the beginning of the end for Shevchenko? Or her best days behind her? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe she had an off night. Maybe Alexa Grasso is just a better fighter. I thought she looked very well. It certainly wasn't a fluke. Thank you, Sullivan, 1993. 63 even. Manchester United in the house. You know, so I don't know. A lot will be answered. I mean, it was a pretty even fight, but I thought Grasso was doing really well. Brian, 115. Brian even. Michael Bisping versus Chael Sonnen retirement rematch. I would love to. I would love. Who's that? Is that you, Beck? You're going to come and join the chat in a bit. People asking where your OnlyFans is. Yeah, she better not. Valentina's going to be pissed and wanting revenge for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think Valentina maybe, and I'm a fan of Valentina, so this is not an insult. She's a dominant champion, you know, and then sometimes you start to get in the mindset. We saw it with George St. Pierre, maybe a little too passive in the fights, maybe a bit too defensive. She needs to go back to being that hungry killer. She needs to go forward, being the aggressor, as opposed to just trying to counter all the time. But who am I to sit here and critique Shevchenko with the career that she's had? Did I see Chepi Mariscal versus Peak? I didn't see that at all. All right, let's talk about this. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. This is my channel manager sending this through. He's probably saying, Mike, talk about something interesting. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is now a plus 300 underdog, right? Eddie Hearn says it doesn't go 4 rounds. Yeah, I saw that. Well, I don't think it goes 4 rounds. Yeah. I understand why he's the underdog. I get it. What do you think? I mean, Nate Diaz isn't a boxer. I'm a fan of his charisma. I'm a fan of his MMA career. I'm a fan of what he brings to the table. I'm a fan of his attitude. I can't say I've ever been wowed by the technical brilliance of his boxing. His toughness, for sure. He can take a shot. He's got a gas tank. He's durable. And he's got amazing jiu-jitsu. And he's a skilled mixed martial artist. I think if you make him laugh, here we go, the Eddie Hearn impression. Yeah. I don't think it goes 4 rounds. I think he's right, though. I don't think it does go 4 rounds. I think Jake Paul's the bigger guy, the younger guy, the better boxer, and heavier hands. And I think he's picked Nate Diaz for a reason. You know? Love Nate, but that damn scar tissue is a problem. Less of an issue in boxing gloves, to be fair. Less of an issue without the knees and the elbows. But still, you know, they can be opened. Nate Diaz is sparring champions. Well, Schultz, he will. He is. Who was it who came out recently who said that? Was it Andre Ward? Yeah, I think he was sparring with Andre Ward. You're not going to come out and go, oh, I was sparring with Nate Diaz and he was a lot of crap. I'm not saying that's what he thinks, but it's just, if you spar with someone and you get asked about it, you're generally complimentary. You know, you don't crap on the people that you're friends with. So, you know, Jake Paul, he's just a bit of a tit in it. You know, I want Diaz to win, but I just don't think he does. I really don't think he does. Let's have a look, see what he's saying now. Jake Paul ruined brand new. Oh, what? What's this? He ruined the brand new 421,000 Ferrari and broke it within an hour doing donuts. Well, he's obviously done that for a YouTube video, hasn't he? Where's the vid? Here we go. Yeah, look, no, it's a YouTube video. Hey, fair play to him.
I think I might have already broken.
Negative 420,000. Why the does the board say negative 400?
None of you guys wrote negative 420,000 on the board. None of you guys know why it says negative $500,000 on our YouTube budget.
Bro, stop with the bullshit. Did you write that?
No, I didn't. That's not even my hand. That's Jake's handwriting.
And this put us into debt. The road to 16 million is officially negative.
Buddy, 50.
Long way. Bro, I'm nervous to drive this thing. Like,
Anyway.
this video. And the surprise is I didn't just...
Anyway, there you go. Let's talk about it. I mean, he's probably just got an older Ferrari. Hey, fair play, they're going to smash a Ferrari. They're going to make money off it in the long run. But and he's very good at YouTube. And he's not that bad at boxing, but he's not good at boxing. Far from it. I think we saw that against Tommy Fury. But I do think he'll beat Nate Diaz. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I am wrong. I hope. I thought Anderson Silva would beat him. Anderson Silva looked old in that. The man's almost 50 for crying out loud. You know, listen, the thing is, Jake's got a lot of money and he's got a lot of people, that support him. He's got his massive fan base on YouTube and the younger kids all seem to know him and like him. So he offers these people big paydays, and they would take it because the reality is, I mean, somebody like me, someone like an Anderson Silva, someone like a Nate Diaz, a Tyron Woodley, they don't look at him as a real threat because they think it's just this bloody YouTuber guy, right? But they think, hold on a minute, I'm going to go box this guy and I'm going to make a lot of money out of it, so I'll go do it. But he's pushing himself in the gym and maybe they underestimate him a little bit, But that's their fault. Shouldn't do that. Rule number 1, never underestimate anyone. Who wins? Jake Paul, 56%. I totally agree. I think he does. All right, who wins? 205 in their prime. Yoel Romero or Anthony Johnson? Oh, wouldn't that have been a good fight? Anthony Johnson. The late, great Anthony Johnson, rest in peace. So sad, isn't it? So sad. Anthony Johnson, what a guy he was. What an absolute man. But I think Anthony Johnson was a decent enough wrestler to stop his takedowns. He was way bigger, he was way longer, and hits probably harder than Yoel Romero. All right, Snake 2091 says, Bisping should definitely be considered in the BMF. Well, thank you very much. Do you think Chito Vera and Dustin Poirier will ever make champion? Wish they would, but such a stacked division. Shout out to Sam from Bournemouth, UK. Thanks, Lou, Mike. Thank you, Mike, or thanks, Lou? Anyway, do I think... Listen, Cheeto's right there. Listen, he had a bad night at the office against Corey Sandhagen. We all know that. Maybe he got beat by the better man on the night. Whatever you want to call it, right? But I still think he can do it. And who was the other person you said? Dustin Poirier. I mean, he was an interim champion. He's right there. I'd like to see him against Islam. The fight that he had against Khabib doesn't bode well because there's a pretty good chance that Islam would be able to replicate the kind of performance what Islam had. And apparently, by all accounts, Islam's a better version than Khabib, which I find hard to believe, if I'm totally honest. But it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world, would it? I think whoever wins next is going to fight for the belt. No, scratch that. I think Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev, my guess, and I know nothing, my guess would be that goes down on Fight Island. And then the winner of Poirier and Gagey get the winner of that fight. You're a man of the people. Much love and respect, Mike. Well, thank you all, Caps. Bisping. What's a good first fight to show someone to get them into MMA? Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier. Michael Bisping versus Anderson Silva. Michael Johnson versus Justin Gagey. Basically, anyone who has a name starting with Michael, you can't go wrong. Michael, have you ever fought a traveller Irish or English? You mean the gypsy? Although that's an offensive term these days. It's not offensive, the gypsies. But a lot of beef with gypsies over the years, but no beef now. We're going to poll up, let me know in there. Do we think McGregor will fight Chandler? We went through this, mate. Keep up, brother, keep up. I think the general consensus on that one was no. But I hope they do. That's literally what they said about Bisping. Cutman Tate, not Andrew. Yeah, Cutman Tate's going to be joining us. Great guy. So one of the big things that happened recently was this submarine thing, right? Which was just tragic and bloody awful, wasn't it? It was so sad. But it had the complete world gripped. It had everyone gripped to it. But it was all a load of bullshit. Sadly, they'd already passed away. The Coast Guard knew on the Sunday before everyone kind of realized that this was a lost cause. And apparently the popular theory is that it was a big distraction from some of the other world news which is going on, you know, maybe covering up some of the antics regarding the White House or whatever. And if that is true, it's just so bloody sad. But the worst thing is that 18-year-old kid, the son of the billionaire from England, was on there. Man, so bad, so sad, you know. But the good news is that it ended like that. Apparently, when they get down to these depths, just squashed, and they wouldn't have known anything about it. So I guess that is the only good news about that. But still, I'm going to move on from that because it's bloody depressing. Yes, Jesse Marasco. Yeah, one-eyed, so what? More like the carbon blender. I would love Volk versus Islam too. Yeah, so would I. First one was very, very close. Very competitive. But I don't think it's fair on the featherweight division. And I don't think it's fair on the lightweight division for them to rematch just now. It's not fair. There's plenty of contenders at featherweight and lightweight. So, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 defenses down the line. If they're both still the champ, do it again. But right now, you know, we found out who won that. Islam won it by a very, very, you know, small margin. It was a close fight. Hey, babe! Banging headache. Ask for some ibuprofen. Ibuprofen, please. Muchas gracias, amigo. She's not Spanish, but she'll get it. So yeah, listen, it was a close fight. They can't do that just now. It's not fair. And besides, Ilia Topuria, Tate does want a copy of my book, Andrew, and I owe him one. I said I'd give him one. Ilia Topuria looked amazing last weekend over Josh Emmett. Of course, Josh Emmett was the last person to fight for the interim belt against Yair Rodriguez. Lost that one. That makes it clear. Ilia Topuria is next. Okay, or he wants Max Holloway. I've got to say, fair play, balls on Ilia Topuria, because Max Holloway's a tough fight to go up against, like, whilst you wait to fight for the belt. You know what I mean? Careful what you wish for. True or false, asks Ryan. Yair is Volk's toughest test except Max. As of right now, Ryan, true. I was watching yesterday Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett, which happened back in Perth earlier this year. And I thought Yair Rodriguez was phenomenal. The kicking game that he has, the speed, the snap, the power on his strikes, all of it is just unbelievable. You going to come and sit down in a bit, babe? Yeah, all right. Oh, crap. Got the ibuprofen. No, I got it. I thought I dropped one. Blazing bloody headache for some reason. Yeah, anyway, Yair Rodriguez, he looked phenomenal. He looked absolutely phenomenal, you know. The movement, the constant attacks, the stick and move, I think he can cause Volkanovski a lot of problems. I still favour Volk to win the fight, but I do think it will be a closer fight than what maybe Volk's expecting. Michael Majoni says, I'm just watching your Ultimate Fighter, so watching you back then. Funny, you're the best, Michael. Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. What was that? When Tate goes to prison, you will all be told that it's a conspiracy theory. We will. Well, he's already putting that down, isn't he? So we're all a part of the Matrix and we're getting controlled, you know. And maybe there's a little bit of truth to what he says, but maybe there's a little bit of truth to the charges as well. The reality is we don't know. No one knows, you know. I do agree with some of what he says. I disagree with a lot of what he says, but some of what he says isn't far off the mark. Lydian84, thank you very much. Have a supporter on me. You're the man. Appreciate that, brother. Hope you are well. Many military whistleblowers are reporting to Congress about a UFO crash retrieval/reverse engineering programs dating back to Roswell. Do I believe it? Simon Mumby. I don't think I do. Now, I do think there's UFOs. In fact, this is a good one for a poll on. Let's put this on. By the way, in the poll results are 79% of you have Volkanovski winning. 81% now. No surprise there. And put this up. Do we believe in aliens? Do we believe in life on other planets? Because the reality of this one, it's a yes. It is a yes. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a question. Have you seen the size of the universe? Hold on. Video on size of... I mean, it's just wild. Yeah, let's have a look at this one. I hope this doesn't get us... I don't know what this is. I just clicked on it. The moon. This is going slow. We'll turn that down. But whilst I talk, we get a rough idea. I don't know what this is. Callisto. What is this? Callisto, is that a moon or something? But still, when you see the size, and this is going very slow. This is going ridiculously slow. It's doing my nutting. When you see the size of the universe and the amount of galaxies and the amount of stars that there is out there, it's just insane. A friend of mine was actually one of my managers out in Thailand, Mike Selby. He has this huge telescope that it came from from a NASA space station or something. Something to do with NASA anyway. And the images that he gets on that from millions and millions and millions of light years away. It just never ends. The universes and the stars and the galaxies, it's just insane, right? And we're in the perfect position. We're not too hot, we're not too cold. We know this. I'm not educated people. So life can flourish on our planet. There's thousands and thousands and billions and trillions of planets that are in the same kind of condition. Don't tell me there's not life forms. Still, anyway, this is the shittest video. My God, what did they show us here? It's not the best. I need a better one just to make my point. Just to make my point. Look at this one again. This is not a good one. I want to see stars, quasars. I want to see Milky Ways, galaxies. Get out of town. Anyway, I'll let that one off. I do think there's UFOs, but I think if they were sophisticated enough to come to planet Earth, I don't think the government would be getting a hold of them. I don't think they'd be crashing. I think they'd come here and just take the planet and wipe us out or something. I don't know. But still, what do I know? Can't hear over the universe music. All right. Turn the volume down. The Earth is flat. Isn't that a good one? I saw a meme the other day. It said, what flat earthers see on a clear day? And it was like in the distance, you know, you had all like the land, you know, the Eiffel Tower, the pyramids, you know, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, all the big things. It was hilarious. Yeah, making my point with an animation, you prick. So what, Caspar? Snake2091 says, love you, Mike. Do you think that Rob Whittaker can become the champion also? And if Volkanovski beats Yair and also Topuria, which he will, he must be the best ever to compete. Well, I do think Whittaker beats Duplessis, and I love Duplessis. I'm talking to him next week. I hope he hasn't seen my prediction and refuses to speak to me because he might be offended, but I just don't think he's as good, but you never know. And I do think Volkanovski has potentially, with a bit more work, the chance to go down as one of the best ever. I think we're living through one of the greatest eras in mixed martial arts right now. However, tough fight against Yair Rodriguez. Ryan says, love your videos, Mike. Just wondering, who ever hit you the hardest? Also, do you have any guys become the champ? Whittaker, Sandhagen, and Aspinall. I think one day Aspinall will be the champion. I've said that many times. Robert Whittaker, he's been the champion. Can he become the champion again? Crazier things have happened. He's lost twice, but Israel Adesanya lost 3 times in a row to Alex Pereira before knocking him out cold. See what I'm saying? See where I'm going? See what I'm hitting you with? See the facts I'm giving you? Yeah? It had to be his 4th attempt before he got a win. This will be Whittaker's 3rd attempt if he gets one. You never know, he might do it. He might do it. Are aliens real? Let us know in the poll here, please. This is hilarious. Yes, I was probed just last week. No space is dead. Only GSP knows the truth. Only GSP knows the truth. I saw a spaceship, though. I saw a spaceship. I did. Me and my mate, Stuart Hudson. I was about 15 years old. I came in, me and my buddy Hudson, Stu. We'd been to the youth club. We were watching TV in the front room. It was late on a Friday night, about midnight. Mum and Dad are in bed. And this sounds like nonsense, but I can remember it clear as day. And so can my friend. we were sitting there, and we had patio doors in the front room, and we just see this, what can be only described as a UFO, a low-flying aircraft, right, with like green flames coming out the back of it, and it slowly just hovered over the neighbour's house and went out of our vision. And I looked at my mate, I said, did you see that? He said, did you see that? And we couldn't believe it. And we told a couple of people the next day, and everyone thought we were liars and crazy and all the rest of it. So we stopped telling that story. So yeah. But anyway, Ryan says, who's the hardest to ever hit me? Well, Dan Henderson's got to be up there, let's be honest. You know, he knocked me out cold the first time, and even the second time. Dropped me twice, once in the first round, once in the second round. Shattered my orbital, my eye. I was swollen out here. So yeah, probably Dan Henderson. Yeah. Alvarez versus Mike Oxlong. Canelo Alvarez versus Mike Oxlong. I don't know about that. Can Canelo compete with someone who's Coxlong? Are you attending MITB in London? I don't know what that is, buddy. Who was the fighter you wish you saw fighting in their prime? Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali for sure. I was obviously born after his reign, shall we say. Do I follow the Premier League? Not really. I wish I did. I do enjoy football now. I hated it as a kid. Yeah, but I do enjoy it now. I do enjoy a game of football, but I don't really follow sports at all. I wish I did. I really wish I did. I wish I was one of the guys, do you know what I mean, that could join in those conversations. And I always feel left out when other guys start talking sports and talking about what's happening and this player's getting traded and this and that. Did you catch the game at the weekend, bro? I'm like, I just start looking at my phone. Do you know what I mean? I like combat sports. That's about it. Team sports I was never really into. Thoughts on Abus Magomedov, Florenti Gashi. That's this weekend. Talked about that. I think he's great. I think he's got a tough fight against Strickland. I think Strickland's got a tough one against him. How close to fighting Bellew were I? Not close at all. Tony Bellew. I don't think there was any real talks. I think there was a little mention of it, and I was like, I'd be up for that. Tony Bellew, a respected boxer for sure, world champion at one point, great guy, like him a lot, and he's a big fan of mixed martial arts as well. I've been on his podcast. We've spoken a few times. We've never met in person, I don't believe, but I like Tony Bellew a lot. He's great. So yeah, we never got close to fighting. Bisping, give me an oh my word. Just did. So yeah, all right, let's give you some topics. Let's get into a real conversation piece here because we haven't done that for a while. Hold on, what's this? It's got an important contract here. Interesting, sorry about that. Very, very interesting text. Can't share it with you. Great living, you might say, but I apologize. So let's have a look. Where'd it go? Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, we did that one. Henry Cejudo pulled out. UFC 290, we did that one. What else is going on in the world? What's some big controversies that we need to talk about? I'm a college tennis coach, but I don't watch any other sport than the UFC. Lol. I make my athletes watch with me. Well, good for you, Mick Moore. I'm glad. Good. You're a tennis coach, eh? I used to like tennis. Started getting into tennis, but now with one eye, I can't do it. I've got no depth perception. Anything involving catching a ball, forget about it. Playing golf. Everyone loves playing golf these days. Let me know in the poll, and by the way, in the last poll, only GSP knows the truth. 188 votes. Low in the polls today, guys. You got to get back in there. What was I saying? Yeah, golf. Everyone's playing bloody golf. DC's obsessed with it. Everyone's talking about it. Tyrone Woodley's doing it. You don't look cool. Stop talking about it. Stop posting about it. If you want to play golf, play some bloody golf. Stop shoving it down everyone's throat. Do you know what I mean? Who cares? You look like a dickhead. Why are you dressed up like that? Right? You're not cool. You're not a professional golfer. And I have one eye. DC's always trying to get me to go golfing. Anytime we commentate, he's like, come on, Mike, come and play golf. Come and play golf. I'm like, bro, I've got one eye. I've got no depth perception whatsoever, you know. And the one time I did play golf was Father's Day. Rebecca bought me a set of golf clubs, you know. So buy me a set of golf clubs. Maybe I'll get into golfing. And I was crap. my mate Jacko, shout out Jacko, he was over here and he's into golfing. So we went to the local golf club. And, you know, he was going through a tough time, back then. He wasn't working or anything. So I've paid for his entry to the golf course. I'm paying for the drinks and all the rest of it. And as we're playing golf, and I suck, every time I hit it, mud's going flying everywhere. He's going, Michael, shh, you're talking too loud. Golf course etiquette. I'm like, what do you mean golf course etiquette? I paid for everything. What about my etiquette? Do you know what I mean? Shut up. And then, I was holding everyone up and letting to have them play through. I'm like, nah. Even with 2 eyes, I sucked at golf. Anyway, the riots in France, whoever said that, I just went past it. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, what's going on there? I think the police shot a young girl. Is that correct? Yeah, so they're all kicking off. Hey, fair play. You got to hold these people accountable. They can't be going out there shooting people. Happens every day in bloody America. It's insane. It is. You got to hold them accountable. And if that means taking to the streets and rioting, then fair play. Fair play, Does Mike miss Superclass? I don't know what Superclass is. And no, I am not intoxicated, Michael Elson. Good hobbies without depth perception is what you need. Probably something that uses your brain instead of your physical abilities. Yeah. You're right, Slip 518. Chess. I do like a bit of chess. No physical activity there. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at chess at all because I've never really studied the game. But I do like playing it with Lucas. He likes to play. Callum's all right as well. Epstein's deleted emails. Buzzards cry. I don't know enough about it. Jeffrey Epstein's dead, and that's shady as hell. How come he died? In prison, everything all happened. The emails got deleted. The list of people that visited his island apparently got deleted. So it's a lot of shady shit going on there for sure, but I don't know enough about it to talk about it. The best pub you visited in England the last few weeks. Boom, got that. That's easy. The best one I visited when I was just there was the Aspinall Arms in Great Mitten, just outside of Whalley. What a pub that is. Set in the beautiful Ribble Valley. The countryside's amazing. You got a river right there flowing through it. It's absolutely huge. The decor is incredible. It's done up like old English style, but to an incredibly high standard. Beautiful artwork everywhere. Nice big fireplace. Cozy chairs. Lots of seating. The food is top of the food chain. The food that they serve there is amazing. Yeah, the Aspinall. I'm starving. I am starving. Pizza or McDonald's, pizza all day long, not even a conversation, bro. Ryan says, do I think that Dagestanis get favoured in the UFC? Umar is able to fight number 4 Corey. Unranked Abus Magomedov is fighting number 7 Strickland. Islam fought for the title, being ranked number 10. I see your point. I understand your point. I don't think so. Let me have a sip and allow me to elaborate. So, yeah. Umar is fighting Corey Sandhagen. That's because nobody wants to fight Umar Nurmagomedov. Apparently it's very, very tough finding him a matchup. And Corey Sandhagen was like, I'm all about it. He's like, if I'm going to be the champion, I've got to be able to beat everybody. So I believe I can beat him. So I think now that's how that one came together. Abus Magomedov, again, no one would fight him. People kept turning him down, and Strickland said yes. So there you go. Islam fought for the title. Islam fought for a title. Islam fought 4 times. 4 times, ripped through everyone, dominated everyone. He's the protege of Khabib. That kind of gets him a rub. And he won the belt. I understand your point, but no, I disagree. All right, Buzzards cry. You're a little conspiracy theorist, aren't you? Jesus Christ. Abus is underrated. Abus is underrated, man. He is. Don't be surprised if he beats Strickland. Don't be surprised. All right, someone says here, how did you pass the commissions with having one eye? I'm having issues with the athletic commission because of my eye. It was a lot of lies. And I had some people that was very lucky for, whatever. We don't go into details. Cheating, lying, scratching, clawing, stress. The stress of trying to fight with one eye and keep it a secret was incredibly difficult. It was so. Turn my mic up. Turn my mic up. My mic's pretty loud, mate. I don't think that's the issue. I'll pull it a bit closer. How about that? Yeah, the stress levels, man. I'll tell you this. When I fought Robert Whittaker, well, I was supposed to fight Robert Whittaker. I'd accepted the matchup. I think it was UFC 193, that mega event in Melbourne, I think it was, where Ronda Rousey fought Holly Holm. And I got sent my bout agreement. That was all signed. And then I got sent the medical thing and the medical requirements, because it was the first ever event they were having. No, I think it was Perth, regardless, wherever it was in Australia. Because it was the first one there. They wanted to make sure everyone was tip-top medical-wise. And I opened the email, and they were going to do an eye test when I got there. And Rebecca was cooking dinner, and I just went, fuck, screamed my head off. She's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm like, I'm done. Because I'm going to get out there, they're going to test me, and they're going to say this guy can't fight. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and then as luck would have it, my elbow messed up and I had to have surgery on my elbow. So that kind of got me out of that one, and I dodged a bullet. Have I ever broken my hands or had surgery on them? Yeah, I mean, can you see that lump here? I mean, that's broke. And look at that one there. That's my wrist. That's broken them many times. Never had surgery, but I have got to get a surgery on this wrist, because not only is it very unsightly, it's very painful, very painful. So I'm going to get another surgery pretty soon, as soon as I have a bit of time. My doctor's like, we can get you in pretty soon, but my schedule just at the minute is just ridiculous. How did you find out about the Count status and being descended from Polish knights? Yeah, well, there's plenty of books about it, you know, and it's not that too far in history that, you know, my family were counts, to be honest. That sounds very grandiose. Obviously, a count is a member of the aristocracy, a European aristocracy, or a noble or something like that. I don't know. And before the Second World War, my family were living a very, very, on my dad's side of the family, they were living... you know, they were living it up and living in huge mansions, and they were wealthy landowners and all kinds of stuff. And that all went back to, in the Middle Ages, one of my ancestors was involved in a war, and for his role in the war, he was awarded as the title of Count and given a bunch of land. And there's a whole story. It's a very, very interesting story, but if I were to sit here and tell it, it's like I'm bragging. And you wouldn't believe some of the shit anyway. You wouldn't believe it. Check this out. I'll say it. There's a fighter in the UFC. What's his name? Oh, bloody hell, I forgot his name. English fighter from the UFC. He's not in the UFC anymore, but what he did. What is his bloody name? I feel terrible. I'm on the spot. Anyway, he's done a degree in genealogy, and he was investigating my family tree. And I've got all the voice notes. I've got all the voice notes from him. He says, you're not going to believe this, Mike, but you're a descendant from one of the emperors of Rome. So obviously I don't go around repeating shit like that, because people just think I'm lying. But it's true. So there you go. There you go. Anyway, but then the World War II happened. World War II happened, then they lined my family up against the wall, shot them all dead. My granddad fought out of there on horseback, age 15, with a shotgun. He made it to England. Had my dad. I was raised in a council estate in England, or in a council house. So, yeah, there you go. It's just family history. Doesn't make me special, far from it, but it's a pretty cool story. What do you think about Kelvin Gastelum? Yeah, so if anyone's not aware, September 16th, I think it is, Mexican Independence Day. We got Valentina Shevchenko going up against Alexei Grasso once again, trying to get a title back. And I think it's going to be co-main event. Kelvin Gastelum is going up against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Tough fight. As we know, Kelvin Gastelum, very talented fighter. Of course, the last person that I fought and lost to. But he's struggled a little bit. And that's not fair to say, but he's only been fighting elite competition. But he hasn't necessarily always done the best. You know, and he's struggled with some of the results lately. So he's going back down to 170, to the welterweight division. I don't know if that's the best idea. I really don't, because he's gotten older. He struggled to make 170 in the first place. It might have an effect on his gas tank, might have an effect on the ability to take a shot. And he's going in there against Shavkat Rakhmonov, a man that's 17-0 with all finishes. So full respect to the man. The balls on this guy, because no one wants to fight Shavkat right now. So full respect to Gastelum, but it is a tough fight. All right, we're going to do about 15 more minutes, I reckon, because I'm starving. And I still got research to do for tomorrow's fight. I'm driving in the morning. So, yeah, I've got to do all my research today. So I've got to get back to work in a minute, guys. So, yeah, if you've got any more questions or anything like that, bring them in because I'm going soon. Ngannou started training at 27, but he's a genetic specimen. Yeah, he did. Here we go. Her Lounge Corpse. Do I have any favourite combat sport movies? Am I a fan of the 80s Van Damme, Cynthia Rothrock, Jet Li flicks? All the best, Michael. Her Lounge Corpse? Let me tell you, 100%. Jean-Claude Van Damme was my hero when I was a kid. And I'm very lucky I've met him. He came to one of my fights in Manchester. That was a surreal moment for me. But growing up, the Rocky movies really inspired me. But then when I discovered Jean-Claude Van Damme, that was my guy. Every time a film came out, my dad would rent it from Blockbuster Video. And we would watch them over and over and over again. I would watch them all the time, you know. Bloodsport, what a film. What a film. Kickboxer, AWOL. What did you guys call it? I think it's called something else. We called it AWOL in the UK. But yeah, Van Damme was my guy. Cynthia Rothrock, not so much. Jet Li, fantastic. But yeah, Van Damme, man. Van Damme. And you know what? I've started showing Lucas. He's 13 years old now. And I've been showing him all 90s movies. I said, you got to see some of these, son. You know, and he loves them. And he even says, didn't he flirt with your wife when you met him? He did. And I was like, God bless, it's Van Damme. It's Van Damme, fair play. But I don't know if he was flirting, he was being friendly. But what was I saying? Yeah, so I've been showing Lucas, and I showed him Bloodsport recently. Is it Bloodsport? Where he goes off to the Kumite? Yeah, Bloodsport. I showed him Bloodsport, and he just loved it. He was gripped the whole way through. I showed him Big Trouble in Little China. He was glued to it. Conor, loved it. Next one's going to be Face Off, Terminator, Commando, all the other Van Damme ones. And he loves all of them, he really does. So I love it. I'm sitting there, I'm in my element. So it's once a week we do a movie night, and it's 90s action movies, education, appreciation with DJ Mikey B. And he loves it, and it's a nice way to bond. Mike can't keep up with the posts. I can't. Jean-Claude Van Damme's best movie. That is in the poll. Is it Cyborg? Is it Bloodsport? Is it Kickboxer? Is it Universal Soldier? Well, AWOL is one of those for sure. What did you guys call AWOL? When he goes off and he runs away from the French Foreign Legion. It was called AWOL in the UK, but it had a different name in the States. What was it called? Lionheart. It was called Lionheart. That should be in there. But out of all those ones, Cyborg was pretty good, but that was like his first one, I think. But Bloodsport or AWOL, they're the ones for me. Yeah, you guys call it Lionheart. Thoughts on Mike Berry returning to the UFC to fight? I'm not saying that. Well, listen, there's some people in the chat, they try and get you to say racist things. And I'm assuming you think it's funny, you know. But come on, man, grow up. Why did Callum retire? Well, I'll tell you why. Because even if he went off to become a national champion wrestling, what's that going to do for him in the long term? And his body is failing him. Wrestling is tough. If you've never done it, it's insane, man. All my injury, my neck is destroyed. My knees from wrestling, my back from wrestling, my neck in particular. All from wrestling. Let me tell you, it's tough on the body. And there's some people that are blessed. There's some people that go through life and they wrestle their entire life and don't get injured, but a lot of people do. So yeah, you know, he's had so many surgeries at such a young age. He's only 22. He's living in pain. Currently, his back's killing him. His triceps killing him. He tore his tricep completely off the bone. Didn't know about it for quite some time. And yeah, he's torn ACLs and stuff. So it's just not worth it. I'm like, it's done amazing things for you, you know. So there. Can O'Malley become the next big pay-per-view superstar if he starches Aljo? Well, yeah. And that's the key. It's not just beating Aljamain Sterling. It's knocking him out. Like, look at Conor McGregor. The way that he was winning fights back in the day. That is what captures the imagination. Look at Mike Tyson back in the day. Flatlining everyone. Pure violence. That, again, people say, I can't miss this guy. You know, Conor McGregor was flatlining everyone. Knocked out Jose Aldo in 12 seconds. Look at what he did against Eddie Alvarez. You know, just a sublime performance. You know, so it's like, wow, that's what makes you a megastar. As well as being charismatic and a character and being funny and having some kind of attraction. Style, certain style that's, you know, whatever. But also what you do in there. That's what makes him stand out. And Aljamain Sterling, Sugar Sean O'Malley is the complete package. You know, I like the guy a lot. I'm a big fan. You know, he's got a tough fight against Aljo, though. But if he wins it, but if he knocks him out, Jesus Christ, yeah, it'll be a big pay-per-view draw. How is racism not funny with shows like Family Guy, South Park have received... Family Guy and South Park are hilarious. I wouldn't say there's racist. Listen. We can all take a joke. We can all take a bloody joke. But just stop trying to get me to say racist things on here. What is my diet currently? Okay. Keto with a bit of beer. I'm kind of on a keto diet at the minute. We all went off to England, had a great time. My God. The diet went out the window. Diet went out the window in a big way, man. It was all pub food. Delicious pub food. Fish and chips, steak and kidney pudding. You know, all that kind of stuff. Heavy, starchy, carbohydrates to the max. Fat. Oh, God, I'm starving, man. But it was delicious. But we've come back now, so trying to keep it as low carb as possible. And, taking a little break from the booze as well. I've got a very, very busy week next week. I'll be in, I'm in Vegas this weekend. Then I go to Vegas next week. I'm covering International Fight Week for BT Sport, for ESPN. I'm commentating slapboxing as well as doing a bunch of YouTube videos and the podcast. So no booze through the week. I'll wait until Saturday night when the fights are all done and my obligations are finished, and then I'll have a good old drink up with the boys from BT Sport, Adam and Nick. Great guys and the whole crew. Any plans to tour again? Well, Matthew Baker, yes. We've got 2 shows coming up. Wouldn't say it's a tour. 2 shows in December. But then I'm going to get back into it. Yeah, because I really enjoyed it. It was unbelievable. It really was. And the support that I got from everyone for it was amazing. David, yes, I will be at International Fight Week. Mikey B, when's Red Sonja out? Not sure, mate. I thought it might have been this summer. But apparently maybe not even this year. All right, guys. Are you aware you're mentioned on Nav's song, Know Me? Yeah, no, I know. Shout out Nav. I think he's from Toronto, right? Yeah, no, I do. He gives me a little name drop on his song there, so that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, guys, we've been going for an hour and 13 minutes. We're going to call it a day. Bloodsport is the #1 Van Damme movie. International Fight Week is upon us. Sean Strickland is in action again tomorrow night. I'll be at the Apex. I'll be doing an instant reaction. So be sure to check that out. I'll give you my thoughts on the fight. If you ever come to Northern California, you're always invited to the carne asada. That's a dish. I'm assuming it's also a restaurant in Northern California. Northern California is a big place. If I was to wander around Northern California saying I'm looking for the carne asada, they might say, fuck off back down to South California. You'll get more carne asada down there. You need to tell me where it is. You need to be specific, Chipper Wayne. I mean, I love a bit of carne asada, but, you know, show Lucas First Blood. Ooh, good one. Rambo. Will do. No. The best Van Damme movie is, but then nothing. Bless. Tomato Ketchup Gang, Northern Quarter, Manchester. Shout out the Northern Quarter. Don't know the Tomato Ketchup Gang, though. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. We'll be back real soon. We'll have another one for you. This has been fun. Always appreciate you coming on here. And, Jason Kenny. Carney, even. Shout out Jason Carney. Thank you, brother. I hope you're well. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy the fights. And I will see you. Hold on, one more. Matt Carney. Physical, mental, emotional. Michael, what stage in your development did you build your strength? What stage did you develop your fight IQ? And what stage did you gain control over your emotions? Yeah, well, the control over the emotions, it's still a work in progress. I'm better. I'm a lot better. I was assaulted recently. I was assaulted and I never fought back because I'm not lowering myself to beating up some fucking little dickhead in the street. But I was back in England. So, I mean, that shows my emotional strength has got a lot better. I could have just wiped the floor with the guy, this absolute dickhead drunk out of his mind. Sucker punched me. And I never responded, you know. So definitely my emotional intelligence is getting better, but I'm still a work in progress. My strength, I mean, when I started training, as soon as I started training, I started working a lot of strength. But the emotional strength is the biggest one that anyone can have. You know, but on that note, I said I'm hanging